Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
Hey, Shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ blessed. This is another 15 minutes with the captains. To my right.
I'm Officer Losais.
All right. And I'm Captain Mattathias. All right. So, yeah, we're going to jump right into it. Today's topic is jolly old Saint Nick. All right. So, it's not a vague topic. It's pretty concentrated. So, today, we're going to find out who jolly old Saint Nick really is according to the Holy Scriptures. For those who watched the Lucifer class, we alluded to it. So, now this is kind of like a follow-up class to that. All right. Hey, give me that first article, Soldier.
Multifarious Devils, Part 2, Old Nick and the Crocodile. In our enlightened age, we are beginning to forget how thickly the world of our ancestors was populated by imps and devils. Shakespeare still felt at home among them, would have recognized Grimlicken, and as noted in the recent post, knew the charm Oronthi, which scared away witches. Fibbergibbet, a member of a sizable family in King Lear, the wily Rumpelstiltskin and their kin have names that are sometimes hard to decipher, a fact of which Rumpelstiltskin was fully aware. For some reason, devils, at least in English, are often called Old Bogey, Old Scratch, Old Nick, and even Old Nick Boogie.
All right. So we see here in this article that devils are referred to as Old Bogey, Old Scratch, and Old Nick. Good old Nick. Scroll down to the fourth paragraph real quick.
A fairly recent hypothesis derives Old Nick from Old Iniquity.
Wait a second. It says a fairly recent hypothesis derives Old Nick from Old Iniquity. It says Old Iniquity, the name of the devil in medieval plays. Now, from there, give me the definition of Old Nick. Read that.
This is Merriam-Webster. Old Nick, used as a name of the devil.
Right, so they put it right in front of your eyes. It says Old Nick, used as a name of the devil. Click the synonyms. Read that.
Synonyms for Old Nick: Archfiend, Beelzebub, Devil, Fiend, Lucifer, Satan, Serpent.
Right, so you got devil, Lucifer, Satan, and serpent. Okay, now, and the other article, give me 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3, real quick. And the other article in the fourth paragraph, it said that Old Nick was known as short for Old Iniquity. Old Iniquity. All right, watch this.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3.
Come on.
Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first.
Read.
And that man of sin.
And that man of what?
That man of sin.
It says that man of sin, read.
Be revealed.
Psalms 38 and 18. All right, so we have to see what it means when it mentions man of sin in the book of 2 Thessalonians. Watch this.
Psalms 38 and verse 18.
Come on.
For I would desire my iniquity.
My what?
Mine iniquity.
Come on.
I will be sorry for my sin.
For what?
For my sin.
That man of sin is also what? The man of iniquity who is being revealed right now. It's taking place right now. All right, give me Revelations chapter 12 and verse 7. All right. It's not going to be a long class, but hopefully it's interesting and you learn something from it. All right, watch this.
Revelation chapter 12 and verse 7. And there was war in heaven.
It says there was war in heaven. This is going into a power struggle between nations, okay? That's what this is going into. Read.
And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon.
Fought against the dragon. So this is what you would call after World War III, Christ and his host of angels, they are going to fight against the powers that be on this earth. Read.
And the dragon fought and his angels and prevailed not.
And it says the dragon did not prevail against the angels of the Lord. Read.
Neither was their place found any more in heaven.
Neither was their place found anymore in heaven. Heaven meaning rulership. Read that again.
Verse 8. And prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven.
Come on.
And the great dragon was cast out.
It says the great dragon was cast out. What else is he called?
That old serpent.
That what?
That old serpent.
That old serpent. Read.
Called the devil.
Called the devil.
And Satan.
And Satan.
Which deceiveth the whole world.
Which deceiveth the whole world. All right. So what do we have? Old Nick, old iniquity, old sin, old serpent. All right. So we see all of these things are synonymous. Now, let's deal with the serpent a little bit. All right. Go to Genesis, the 3rd chapter. All right. We're going to start at verse 1. Read down a little bit.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 1.
Come on.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field.
Right. Subtle means, it's short for subtlety, meaning crafty, deceptive. Okay. And this is a characteristic of this exact man. The serpent. Old Nick. Esau, right?
Right.
All right. Read on.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field.
Come on.
Which the Lord God hath made.
Uh-huh.
And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden?
Mm-hmm.
And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, Ye shall not eat of it.
Right, because she received these instructions from her husband Adam, so she knew what to do.
Right.
Read.
Neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die.
Come on.
And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die.
So he did what? He manipulated her. He deceived her because he knew that she was the weaker vessel. He knew that he could take advantage. Read.
For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods.
And he's doing the same thing today because a lot of our sisters, they like to go with what America's pushing,
Right.
putting the black woman over the black man. And they sisters simply follow and turn on their black men. But that's another story. Jump to verse 13.
Verse 13. And the Lord God said unto the woman, What is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. It said what?
The serpent beguiled me.
Now she coming back to her senses. Now it's the serpent tricked me. Read that all the way through.
Verse 13. And the Lord God said unto the woman, What is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat.
And she did eat. That's it on that verse?
Yes, sir.
All right, drop that. Give me the book of Micah chapter 7. All right, because a lot of, those who grew up in the Christian church, when you read Genesis, you think it's basically a fairy tale. But you have to understand, we study the Bible precept upon precept. So now we're going to get an understanding on exactly who the serpent was. Start at verse 16.
The book of Micah, chapter 7 and verse 16.
Come on.
The nations shall see and be confounded.
The what?
The nations.
The what?
The nations.
The nations, read.
Shall see and be confounded.
Come on.
At all their might. They shall lay their hand upon their mouth. Their ears shall be deaf.
Mm-hmm.
They shall lick the dust like a serpent.
Like a what?
Like a serpent.
So God right here is comparing the nations to a serpent. Meaning what? There are people on the earth that have these traits and characteristics as the serpent.
Snakes.
Okay? Now, give me the first book, Time Life, Imperial Rome, page 123. All right, so we're dealing with what? The serpent. We're giving the understanding on jolly old Saint Nick. Read what you got.
Household gods called Lars and Panthus, opposites, were common objects in homes throughout the Roman world. The tiny bronze statues represented spirits of the home and the larder. At mealtime, bits of food were burned in the receptacles of offerings to the departed. Some households had miniature shrines like the one shown here, fashioned after Roman temples. This shrine, a particularly elaborate one, shows the family's special deity, the center, flanked by two household gods. Below the figures of the sacred serpent.
Wait, below the what?
Below the figures is the sacred serpent.
So this book is Imperial Rome. When it comes to their deities, it says that the serpent was always sacred to them. This is Imperial Rome. Now, read the top paragraph for me, same page.
Left to themselves, the Prussic Romans might never have developed a system of religious thought any more profound than their Numa. Everything else in Roman religion was borrowed from outside.
You see that? It says Roman religion, they stole everything, meaning their gods, their deities, they just changed them to another name. All right, so Rome, the white man, is not as creative as you think he is. For example, in Washington, D.C., you have a large obelisk at the Lincoln Memorial. Where you get that? Where do they get that from? Ancient Egypt. Okay. They have, what else do they have? They have
The pyramid on the back of the
the pyramid on the back of the dollar. They get that from ancient Egypt. So all of their rites and all of their religions, they didn't come up with it. They just stole it from empires that preceded them. Okay? Now, it says that if they were left to themselves, they wouldn't really have a religious system, so they borrowed it from other people. Give me the next book. Page 97. This is The Two Babylons by Alexander Hislop.
The Two Babylons. Page 97. The Christmas tree, now so common among us, was equally common in pagan Rome and pagan Egypt.
You see, it says the Christmas tree as we know it today, it's common, all right, but it says it came from ancient Rome, which you just read about in the first book, and then it came originally from ancient Egypt because the Romans or the Europeans, they didn't have their own religious systems. They took it and stole it from others that came before them. Read that again.
The Christmas tree, now so common among us, was equally common in pagan Rome and pagan Egypt.
Come on.
In Egypt, that tree was the palm tree.
That tree was the palm tree. Keep that in mind. Go to the bottom of page 97.
To understand this, it must be remembered that the divine child born at the winter solstice was born as a new incarnation of the great God. After that God had been cut in pieces on purpose to revenge his death upon his murderers, now the great God, cut off in the midst of his power and glory, was symbolized as a huge tree, stripped of all its branches and cut down almost to the ground. But the great serpent, the symbol of the life restoring eucalyptus, twists itself around the dead stalk.
Stop. But it's showing you, once again, here comes this serpent. Now, they say the great God, the folklore is that Nimrod died and a tree stump grew in his place. All right, that's the folklore. But it says this serpent, once again, comes wrapped around the tree stump. All right, and it blossoms into a great tree. All right, do me a favor. Go back to page 98, and I want you to continue to read.
The Christmas tree, as has been stated, was generally at Rome a different tree, even the fir. But the very same idea was implied in the palm tree, was implied in the Christmas fir. For that covertly symbolized the newborn God as Baal birth.
It says, as Baal who?
As Baal birth.
Berith.
Berith.
It says, as Baal Berith. Now, let's go back to the scriptures. Give me the book of Judges, chapter 8, verse 33. Book of Judges, chapter 8, verse 33. So it says, this God is known as Baal Berith. Watch this.
The book of Judges, chapter 8, and verse 33. And it came to pass, as soon as Gideon was dead, that the children of Israel turned again and went a-whoring after Baalim, and made Baal Berith their God.
It says, and made Baal Berith their God. So, the children of Israel, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, understand this. We've been doing the same thing over and over again. Damn. This is why the Most High wrote this. Give me Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1. All right, so it says that same folklore, that same pagan worship has been dated back into biblical times. All right, read what you got.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, and verse 1.
Come on.
Hear ye the word which the Lord hath speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
Now it's going to explain exactly what he's talking about. Read.
And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
Now this is Jeremiah in the Babylonian time period. All right, so understand this. When it comes to world powers, you had Egypt, which preceded Babylon. But watch this. They're doing the same exact things during this time as well. Come on.
For the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain.
Let's find out about the custom.
For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, and the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe.
Come on.
They deck it with silver and with gold.
So they take a tree out of the forest, simply going back to what we just read in the other book. Take a tree out of the forest, they decorate it with silver and gold. Read.
They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. They are upright as the palm tree.
As the what?
As the palm tree.
Right, because in ancient times, in ancient Egypt, they used a palm tree first. But ultimately, God says, learn not the way of the heathen. So in two instances, we see that serpent pop up at the root of everything.
Right.
All right, so now drop that. Go to the next article. Go to the next article. That old serpent. Go to this. All right, talking about the sacred child. Middle Ages. Yeah, read that real quick.
Middle Ages.
And this is the same feast. Today's class isn't going into Christmas per se only. It's going into Old St. Nicholas. But you had what the festival of Saturnalia. It dates back to lasciviousness, drunkenness. That was Christmas during the Roman Empire. But read this real quick.
Middle Ages. The Sinterklaas feast.
Sinterklaas feast.
The Sinterklaas feast arose during the Middle Ages. The feast was both an occasion to help the poor by putting money in their shoe, which evolved into putting presents into children's shoes, and a wild feast similar to Carnival,
which is Bacchanal, which represents Baal once again, or Bacchus. Read.
That often led to costumes, a topsy-turvy overturning of daily roles, and mass public drunkenness.
Right, so swap. Men were being women, women were being men. The slaves got a chance to switch roles with their masters. Jump down to 16th and 17th century. Read that.
During the Reformation in the 16th and 17th century Europe, Protestant reformers like Martin Luther changed the saint gift bringer to the Christ child, or Christkind, and moved the date for giving presents from 6 December to Christmas Eve.
Now, there you go right there. So showing you the sacred child, they inserted Christ, the Messiah, into the pagan worship. And it's surrounded around the winter solstice, or the month of December. Let's go back to the two Babylons to dispel that. Show you has nothing to do with Christ. The page is page 92. It says right here, right above it says, at the birth of Christ, every woman and child was to be taxed at the city whereto they belong, whither some had long journeys. So it's saying that would be impossible to do during the mean season in Jerusalem. It would be too cold. Showing you the winter solstice, December 25th, has nothing to do with the birth of Christ.
Right.
It was inserted. So it's time for y'all to wake up and stop holding on to all the lies. All right, drop that. We're about to wrap up. Give me the last article, all right, dealing with the location of good old, jolly old St. Nick. Read that for me.
St. Nick packs his pipe and moves to the North Pole. St. Nicholas' migration to the North Pole is due most directly to Thomas Nast, an American cartoonist who submitted 33 Christmas drawings to Harper's Weekly magazine between 1863 and 1886, one of which featured a village called Santa Clausville, North Pole. North Pole, as you may have guessed, stands for, NP, as you have guessed, stands for North Pole. This was no random decision on Nast's part. During the 1840s and 50s, public imagination in Europe and America was stirred by several highly publicized expeditions to the Arctic.
Stop. So we're going to deal with this. Now we're going to go to the scriptures. It says, this was not random. It says public imagination in Europe and America. Europe and America. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50. Watch this. Jeremiah 50, and I want you to start at verse 41.
Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 41.
Come on.
Behold, a people shall come from the north, and a great nation, and many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth.
This right here, this land of the north, is referring to the European Union, or NATO, which consists of what? European countries. Now read it again.
Verse 41. Behold, a people shall come from the north.
From where?
From the north.
From the north. From the north. The influence came, the North Pole came from Europe and America. Drop that. Go to Jeremiah 16 and 15.
Jeremiah chapter 16 and verse 15.
Come on.
But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north.
That brought the children of Israel, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, from where?
From the land of the north.
Zechariah chapter 2, verse 6. So that north is going into what? The United States of America. All right, Zechariah 2, 6.
Zechariah chapter 2 and verse 6.
Come on.
Ho, ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north.
Once again, the Most High God is telling the Israelites to flee from North America. Read on.
Saith the Lord, for I have spread you abroad as the four winds of heaven, saith the Lord.
And now verse 7 makes it even more plain.
Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon.
That dwellest with the daughter of Babylon. Now, let's go to the book of Revelations 13 real quick. And we touched this a little bit in the last class. We'll touch it briefly again. Okay, start at verse 1.
Revelation chapter 13 and verse 1.
Come on.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
The name of blasphemy, lies. All right, this is going into the European nations once again. Now jump down to verse 3.
Verse 3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast.
Right, that was Rome. His deadly wound was healed. All right, now let's go down to verse 11.
Verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon.
Now this beast, another beast, this is going into the United States of America. Verse 12.
And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast.
The first beast was Rome.
Right.
So where did we see that? You see what it had: Egypt, Babylon, and now Rome was keeping that wicked feast, and America's keeping that wicked feast, because America does everything that the empires that reign before them does.
Right.
That's what they do. Read verse 12 again.
And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed.
So I'm going to let y'all know something. If you celebrate jolly old Saint Nick, the Christmas celebration, once again, you are worshiping the white man. He has deceived you once again. Give me Revelation 16 and 13, and we'll wrap up right here.
Revelation chapter 16 and verse 13. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon.
Remember in Revelations 12 and 7, read that again for them to refresh their mind.
Revelation chapter 12 and verse 7.
Uh-huh.
And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels.
Verse 9.
And the great dragon was cast out, the old serpent, called the devil, and Satan,
read,
which deceiveth the whole world.
Now go back to Revelation 16 and 13.
Revelation 16 verse 13. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet.
And out of the mouth of the false prophet. It's going into politics, religion, and media. So when you drive down in downtown, what do you see? You see the Christmas lights.
Decorations.
At this time of year, you see all the Christmas commercials, all the Christmas sitcoms, all the Christmas movies.
Right.
And what do? They infused this pagan worship into the religion Christianity. You see? And they take biblical characters like our Messiah, Jesus the Christ, and try to infuse them in there. Give me Titus chapter 1, verse 14. We'll end right here. All right? So understand this, brothers and sisters. Jolly old Saint Nick or Santa Claus literally is the devil the Bible speaks of.
Right.
Understand that. He's that old serpent. He's that man of sin. Okay, read what you got.
The book of Titus, chapter 1 and verse 14. Not giving heed to Jewish fables.
Not giving heed to Jewish fables. Christmas, old Saint Nick, that would be a Jewish fable. He deceived you once again. Read.
and commandments of men.
And commandments of men. Whether you believe it or not, when you celebrate Christmas, you are worshiping the beast. You are worshiping the serpent, because they command that this day is a holiday.
Right.
Because what? Everything's closed. So you are following the traditions and commandments of men. Read.
That turn from the truth.
That turn from what?
That turn from the truth.
That's it on that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, hey, it's been another 15 minutes with the captains. We're going to end right there. My name is Captain Mattathias.
And I'm Officer Losias.
All right. And with that, we say shalom.
Shalom.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.